this notion that everything should always be okay, and you should always feel fine and content in your life, and if you don't, then you have some mental problem or there's something wrong with you. I think life sucks a lot of the time, and a lot of the time it's great. It's always going to be that way. It's never going to be just one-sided. I knew that I was probably going to end up in something creative because it's one of the only fields where you don't really have to have a formal education, so I totally fit into that. But when I walked into the William Eggleston exhibition at the Getty, I just knew right then. I can't really explain why. I guess it's the same feeling that you get when you know you're in love with someone. I just knew when I saw the first image in the room. For the first 7 years, I was being turned down by galleries and anyone actually involved in the official art world. But I wanted to exhibit my photos anyway because I thought they were great. So I would just rent out little spaces for one night only, or friends' lofts, or just whoever I knew that had nice spaces. There was a show that I had in a motel in a really crappy part of LA, and we basically just rented out I think there was like 8 motel rooms for 3 hours. The guy wouldn't rent them for longer than that because he had his regular customers, which were hourly. Who knows why things happen the way they do, but I'm sure that growing up in LA with all my actor friends and movie industry all around me, I'm sure that influenced me in some way, but my photography started off very much based in street photography. I totally respect and admire the genre of street photography, but I felt like I couldn't accomplish what I felt like I was trying to accomplish or communicate. I couldn't do it in that world. So I found myself moving towards staged images which were inspired by street photography, and that's still how I look at my work. That juxtaposition of, the place where all your dreams might be fulfilled, or you might lose yourself entirely to this wicked city of sin and parties and celebrity and glamour and glitz and all that bullshit. I mean, that's really such a small part of this city, but it gets the most press, so everyone kind of thinks of LA like that, and that's why a lot of people come here. I've seen a lot of people lose themselves here. It's like Never Never Land. My pictures are so much based on post-production now. I'll plan everything as much as I can before a shoot. I'll even sketch it out and go and take pictures with my iPhone, like with a wig on top of a dress in front of a car that I find on the internet, and like I'll put sketches together that way too. Sometimes those photos that I get the most excited about actually didn't work at all, and there's something else that I didn't even notice that was working on set, and I maybe took 2 frames of it, and that's what I end up melding into the photo. With post-production, I'll add, like another person, or take out a car and add a building and a cloud, and then there's the finished photo. The colors and the textures from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, I think all of it was more interesting. I mean, the colors of cars were like candy, and now all of our cars are gray, black, and beige. It's not photography. I feel like they should come up with another word for what the young generation of photographers are doing now, because it's not the same at all. Like, someone told me that Alfred Hitchcock felt like his movies were finished when the storyboards were done being drawn up, because he was going to shoot exactly what was in every frame of each storyboard. With Despair, which was my first film, I approached it as a still photograph that just moved a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. And that's what I thought I was making. I didn't even think about it as a film or a movie or anything like that. It wasn't until actually the New York Times films that I suddenly had this small epiphany about film, and I realized that I was making short films. I've pretty much been training myself for the past years to learn to be a director without even realizing it, because that's just the way I naturally went about photography as a director. I think that's why it's so exciting to me, because I know that I don't really know what I'm doing still after all these years, and I don't think I ever will feel like I know what I'm doing, because I still get the same knots in my stomach before every shoot. That hasn't changed at all. In fact, maybe it's gotten worse, because like the more I do it, the more challenging I want to make it for myself.